I didn't press the live button. I'm new to StreamYard. I'm just going to check that I'm live in there. I was here just after past. Am I live? Yes, I'm there. Awesome. So please excuse the lighting. I'm just getting used to this space, so I need to set it up so you can see me properly. But for today, it's all about the information. So it was lovely to hear back from some of you. So generator type day yesterday is super important for mangens. It's really, really important because that's a big part of your energy. And in fact, the strategy that I spoke about, the rate to respond, is your number one way that you is going to be more easeful for you to get through life. So if you're on, I put the instructions about liking something or doing something in StreamYard so I can see your comments. If not, I'll have a look on here and put your name and then I can get back to you. So I'll do the teaching, then I'll ask questions. So generators are 36% of the population, mangens are 32%. So most of the population is made up of generator types. So the generators are the builders. You're known as the express builders. So mangens are still here to create what they love. It's so important. You've got to do what lights you up. And I want to say this with both energy types, well, with all energy types. Sometimes we work for other people in situations that aren't the best for us, and we're not really there. But sometimes we do in the physical world, because I like to really acknowledge the obvious and the awkward. Sometimes we can feel stuck. And logistically, we might be, I've got to be here right now. I've coached quite a few people into moving into their Dharma. I might get into better light, actually. So your Dharma is your spiritual life purpose, what you're here for. That's better, isn't it? Yeah, your spiritual life purpose, what you're here for. And if you're feeling stuck, what's really important is to make sure that you're doing lots of things that you love. So, for example, I coach a writer who loves writing and is starting her new career helping other people write and self-publish. However, she's also in a job that she needs. And so we reframed it so that job that she's in is going to support her to pay for all her courses, her coaching, so she can transition into what she wants to do. If you're not enjoying your job, it's important you have hobbies that you do, because you need to light this fire up. I am exhausted today. I'm not looking my usual self, because I was asked to talk last night in a group, and it was an American group. So I went live at midnight and finished just after 1. And then because I loved doing it, I had this energy. So I can't get to sleep because I got all this energy in my body. And so when you do something you love, whether it's a hobby or not, it really, really activates you, and you can cope with the other things a lot better. It's a beautiful way to be. So mangens also have this open and enveloping aura, and you're here to share with other people. And when you're lit up, you're going to be magnetic. So still watch day 1 if you haven't, if you're a mangen. It's quite important. The differences are you're quick moving. So I don't want to confuse you too much, but some people who know me might say, well, you're a mangen. I'm a generator type. That is me. But certain parts of my chart, the way that the energy flows through my body, I actually operate. So I'm not a mangen. I operate more like a manifesting generator. And so I use their strategies for myself because my energy is that, but I'm a generator still. So for me, you'll see me multi-passionate, pivoting, quick moving, got an idea, quick, I'll go. I don't like reading flat pack furniture instructions, but I love doing them. Then I'm like, oh, I should have read that instruction. So you're quick moving, you just go. So generators look like the marathon runners, and mangens are like the sprinters. They seem to go very quickly. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they need to backtrack because they misstep. So my advice for a mangen, and I've really taken this on board now, if there's a big project you're doing, don't rush it. Don't rush it, because you're going to miss steps and it's going to delay you. Then you're going to get really, really frustrated. Sometimes, not all the time, sometimes it's good to slow down. So that's really powerful. Mangens are multi-passionate. So you're here to follow your urges. You'll get this downer, this urge, and then you'll go and do it. Generators, so there's a big difference between generators and mangens. So generators will, if you picture everyone in the room, Everyone will be asked, do you want to go for a walk? Generators will feel into the sacral. Yes, I do. And go and not stop till they completed the walk. Mangens will think, yeah, they'll go out the door. They'll either put the foot out and test, do I want to do this? And if they do, they'll sprint. And if they don't, it's like, no. So mangens kind of need a bit of a time to feel what they want to feel. And in society, because human design is for deconditioning, we're really trained to like, you've decided, like, go for it, keep going. And it's not always that easy. It takes a lot of guts actually to go backwards and go, no, that wasn't for me. I've got no problem with it now. But you can get called faddy. I've been called faddy. What are you doing that for? Well, you used to do that, now you're doing that. And everything, when you look back, everything leads towards your dharma, your life purpose. So you're like, I was exactly where I needed to be if you follow your strategy and authority, which we'll go through. So it's difficult for mangens to stick at one thing. And I've coached quite a few. And what I find is that sometimes people quit too quickly. So there's a fine line between following an urge and quitting because it's not going your way instantly, or following an urge and going, actually, this isn't for me. So you really need to learn how you make your decisions and lean into your sacral center. Is it still giving me joy? Does it give me joy, but I'm not getting the results? Well, then you keep going. Is it not giving me joy and I'm not getting results? Time for a pivot. Mangens get restless and fidgety when they're not doing anything. I know this energy well. And so I talked about the sacral plateau yesterday for generators. This is super, super applicable to you. There'll be times when everything seems really still and not a lot's kicking off or going off. That's your time to power up, get used to your future version of yourself and really just lean into powering up. And they're great multitaskers. So you can do several things at the same time, but I would say not several things in the same moment. So with mangens, like you could have a day when you're doing 5 different projects, but 1 hour you're on that project, 1 hour you're on that project. Don't break off to do it because you need this focus. And you actually get frustrated when you're taken away from your focus, when you're in the creative flow. Because you've got a bit of Manifestor in you. So tomorrow I'd really want mangens to listen to the Manifestor video because you'll really resonate with some aspects of that as well. So there's conditioning. So a gift of being a mangen, you're efficient and you're great at finding shortcuts. And that's a real gift. It's, generators, when I'm more in my generator phase, I can make life really difficult for myself sometimes. So challenges. Conditioning, like generators, that you need to initiate things to make things happen, and feeling stuck when you force and initiate. So if you keep forcing and pushing, I should do this, I must do this, it's just not going to work. It's really about waiting to respond like generators. What's around me? What is my sacral drawing to me? What drawing me to? What is my energy drawing to me? How do I feel about it? What's in my life? What are people asking me for? And then go from there, flow from there. If like with my son, if I want to take him for a walk, it's horrendous. Doesn't like it. It's awful. So I tend to wait for him to initiate things. And then it goes a lot better. So this fear again that if they're not doing anything, they're not using their energy efficiently. And quite often because of this, you'll do things that aren't productive. So you're scattering your energy when you could be doing all those 5 projects that are really for you, that are going to move you forward, that are going to light you up even more. And then you feel frustrated. And this is a big one, this next one. Conditioning that you must live a linear path. My path has been far from linear. I'm going to do a Dharma challenge in a few weeks' time. So you'll be on the mailing list. So I'll let you know about that. And it's about your spiritual life purpose. And that'll be really interesting for any type, but I think especially mangens. So we have urges that you want to do different things and people think you're all over the place, faddy. Well, I mean, I did a law degree. Now look at me. You did this. Why aren't you doing that? But you committed to it. It's like, well, I was trying. I was sampling it. Wasn't for me. But I got brilliant skills from it to bring into other things. So I tell you what, when you're a man gen and you're following your passion, you will trigger people because there's so many people there who want to follow their passion and do lots of different things, and they just don't, they can't. So you're going to trigger people. So get used to that and follow your own truth. It's super important. Human design to help us decondition, live in our power and live aligned. So if other people aren't, if they're really frustrated, out of alignment, really unhappy, that's not your deal. You keep following your joy. I really want you to take that. Impatience can lead to skipping steps, which can be an issue, and you can overcommit. Overcommit, take too many things on, and so you don't finish what you start. Even I've had this mental capacity overload recently. I signed up to do this course that I really wanted to do, and I looked at all my workload that I've self-generated. I was like, it's not the time for this right now. You're just overcommitting. So I've put it on pause, and it's there for when I get that sacred response. Let's go, let's do it. So man-gens, like generators, need to use their energy up before bed. Super, super important. So when you're out of alignment, you're going to feel frustration, and you're even luckier, and anger, because you've got some manifestor type in you. So that's a sign when you're feeling frustrated or angry that you're out of alignment, that you're not exactly where your energy should be flowing, probably not surrounding yourself with the right people, being in the right situations, and forcing yourself to do things that aren't for you. And when you're aligned, you're going to feel satisfied or peace. And to man-gens, I think, what is peace? Like, if you're not used to the feeling of peace, how are you going to recognize it? So I think for man-gens, to really rest and reset and be in your body, you really need to find the thing that gets you in your body. So it doesn't matter what it is, as long as you're out of your head, in your body, and you feel those moments of bliss. So for me, I have daily cacao ceremony. I have essential oils that I breathe and put on acupoints. I do breath work. And when I do this, because I've been a yoga practitioner and teacher for many, many, many years, when I do this, I feel peace. I feel bliss. I'm like, oh, back to center. Because with man-gens and every type, we scatter all this energy out. So bring it back so that you're able to be in your body to respond to life. So really look at yesterday's video if you haven't. It's super, super important because I really go into that. So you're designed to live to the synchronicities, the signs that are all around you in your external reality, not to think it into being, not to initiate, not to hustle, to respond to life, but you only respond to what you want to respond to. And because your aura, so you've got the generator, warm and open, enveloping aura, and then you've got the manifestor side of the aura, which is really, really strong. And some people can either be even more magnetized to you, or some people can be repelled if you're living aligned, because you're going to be a bit of an innovator. You're going to think differently. You're here to make new things happen. And so people get triggered by that as well. And they'll get triggered by you being like living your best life. They'll be like, they get jealous because they're out of alignment. So they'll be in their not self theme. So generators, it's frustration, man-gens, frustration and anger. And that sometimes gets directed at you. So my work has always been, am I okay with myself? Can I sit with myself? The things that people say about me, is it true? Yeah, it might be. I might be bossy. Am I bossy? I know my truth and I stand my ground and I stand up for what I believe in. If that's bossy, that's bossy. I'm okay with being that. So get super happy about you, who you are. So when you respond, that's how you get this amazing power and energy to commit to the things that you want to do. So many manifesting generators are conditioned to just do it, just initiate. Let's get this into being. But like generators, you're not here to initiate. Manifestors are. We'll go into that tomorrow, but you're not. You're here to get the urge, to follow what you love, to wait to respond, and then there's wait to inform that I'm going to tell you as well. So you really need to be present. So there's some journal prompts. I've got a journal in all the emails that I really want you to look at and to ask, and I'll ask you the questions again in a moment. So it's really be truthful. Am I in the moment? Am I just keeping myself really busy to be busy because I've got this energy? Or can I take a pause and sit with myself and be in the moment. So I'm actually putting my energy to what I want to do, to where I want my energy to go to. It's super, super important. So just to remind you, when you wait, it doesn't mean nothing's happening. You're powering up. When we have a full life, we need to make space for something in order for something else to come in. So in that pause, you're creating that space for something else to flow in. It's really important to nourish yourself in those times. So something that Mangens have, so when you're committing to the right thing, you wait to respond. Got the response, yeah, it's the right thing for me. And then you do what's called inform. Now this, again, everything's trigger in human design. I love it. I love a good trigger. What that means is you never ask anyone for permission ever. You don't need permission. What you say is something like, because I act like a manager, now I'll let people know in my business what's coming up. I'm studying this. So with human design, I let people know I'm studying human design. I can't wait to be qualified. I got people booked on before I was qualified. So people are coming with me. They're excited. With people who are like, what's that? I don't get that. That's silly. Like some family members, I tell them anyway, going to do this. And so because Mangens be quite secretive, they can keep things under the cover because they don't want to say. They spent a lot of the time trying to fit in a box instead of be this multifaceted self. They're like, no, I've got to stick to this. I said I'd do this. I've got to do it. So they tend to be secretive because they don't want to tell people what they really want to do. So it's super important you get used to informing. So that isn't, again, it's not permission. It's telling people, I'm going to do this. I'm super excited about it. It'd be great if you could support me. If not, I'm going to do it anyway. It's that kind of energy, but you'll find it's actually opens life up. It's super, super important. So I'm just going to see if there's any comments here on Facebook, and then I'll go into the holistic view of managing your energy. And there's always a delay. So I will just have a look. Oops, my voice. So yeah, Joe and Jojo. So Joe's got a Mangen daughter and a generator son. House full of energy. Awesome. So I'll go into now. I'm kneeling. This wasn't the best spot, really. I'm going into some of the things that I channeled yesterday. So just to let you know, I really want you to reflect alone. I've created a journal workbook that's emailed to you for you to really look at. So you don't need to download it. You can just journal on it and to really look at, am I resonating with my energy type? I'm going to have to sit down. Am I resonating with my energy type? If yes, why? If not, why? Awareness is really, really important when we start to experiment with our human design and work on development and self-growth. So yeah, if not, why? What is your biggest challenge or source of conditioning? How is it holding you back? And how can you work through it in a practical way? So with this, human design, just to repeat, if you didn't watch day one, it's an experiment. And so we need to have a play with the energy, and you need the awareness. Where am I now? What would I like to change? So I like to give myself a business and an energy audit regularly, and a house audit. What's working? What isn't working? Am I still happy? Is this still lighting me up? Because things change, especially with generator types. Things change so much for you because you're designed to live in the moment. So as Mangens generators, if you're not living in the moment, you're not aligned to the flow of energy in your body. And this is such a beautiful thing to tie back to yoga and meditation and Buddhism. It's all about being present in the moment. And yet society's taken us up here to planning 10 years ahead. What do you want to be when you grow up? Even though I'm 49, I still don't know the answer. Really? And I wrote about this in my book, actually, and it wasn't a human design book. Isn't being present and living in the moment enough? Because that's all we've got. And yet souls like the generators living in this modern day society with this energy that it's so useful to contribute to society are pulled away all the time. So we're going to have a little tap. So the oil I got through. So what I do is I sit and I channel. I'm like, what oils do the? And I've left my oils downstairs with my dog. I should add. So Balance, which I was going to use, is the most beautiful doTERRA blend. If you don't use oils, you want to know more, I do free consultations. But this is a really super way. So I was asking, like, is it anything fancy? Should we do any points? And it was no, you just smell it. So after I had my second breast cancer operation, I got anxious. I started to get general anxiety. And this oil and yin yoga brought me back. So Balance is a blend of lavender and tree oils. It's so beautiful. I use it for perfume as well. And people say how nice I smell. But what it does is when you smell an oil, it goes to the olfactory bulb, then it goes to the limbic system. This is where the head stuff starts, the limited beliefs, the busyness, So what you do when you smell certain oils, it brings you into your body. For me, it's like an hour of yoga. And that's why I started to partner with essential oils, because I was like, this is powerful. And I still do yoga, but I don't need to do yoga for an hour. I can smell throughout the day. So you can also, if you want to put it on, you can put it on your pulse points. This is going to calm the heart meridians down. You can put it on K3, which I taught yesterday, the inner ankle point. And you can just put it, it's really nice to put on the back of the neck. It's quite protective in an energy way. So it's an all-rounder. And for me, as I was sitting and meditating with what oil yesterday, because that's how I want to say this actually, that's how I create. So I don't sit there with a pen and paper and go, right, let me think. I just sit there and meditate and see what drops in. It's such an easy way of doing business. But over the years, I've been shamanic practitioner and Reiki practitioner and teacher for about 19, 20 years now. So it's part of my life, and I teach that as well, how to connect with your intuition. So really for me, when I was channeling it, the words were, it's presence in a bottle. And that's what the generator types need, presence in a bottle. So generators and mangens, you can do either of these oils. Yesterday's oil, have a look at that if you haven't, or today's, because you need to be present to live your best life, basically, to experience it, but also to know where to go to live it. So that is the oil. So I've also putting a link to the podcast on this email. I forgot yesterday because I was a bit busy toilet training our rescue dog. So we're going to do a tapping now. So if you do have Balance oil, have a smell of Balance. If not, please, before we tap, I really want to say that I don't want you to just look at these videos this week and be like, done. Human design is an experiment that is such a game changer, and you're here for a reason. You've responded to something to be here for a reason. So don't just be here now. Bring it into your life and experiment. Get to know yourself, your human design type. Get to see it in your life. Oh, I can remember when I was fully present, that happened, and that was magical. Then that led me to there and there and there. Yes, I can remember as a child, I had these wild ideas and I wanted to do 5 different things, but I was always told, no, you can only do the one thing. See where your conditioning is, because that's the condition that's going to keep you small and keep you not feeling as joyful as you can. And as generator types, mangens are called generator types. As a generator type, the way we contribute to the world is to be lit up. People feel it, they magnetize to you, and that is your medicine. Just knowing, even if you don't do anything with a business or anything different, just knowing that when you have a hobby that lights you up, that fuels you, you're going to impact everyone around you positively. That's awesome. I went off there. Right, tapping. So tapping, I explained on day 1, will change your energy. It helps you shift mindsets. It helps you raise your vibration. So when I launched my book last year, I was terrified. I was of who do I think I am? I can't write a book. I'm not an author, even though I wrote a book. All these things, and tapping is what I used, and oils to shift the energy. And it was amazing. It enabled me to publish and go, I've got a book. I'll say this now. I want to redo the cover and relaunch it, because I was that scared doing it that I hadn't really owned. In fact, let me talk about this. I hadn't really owned my future self. So here's a teaching point for you. This is the sacred plateau. We grow, we plateau, we grow, we plateau, and on and on. So what happened, I'd grown by doing a book. Oh my God, I'm right. I'm going to write a book. And then just as I was about to publish it, I published it and then I came into a plateau because I wasn't really telling people about it much. It was very quiet launch. And I've done this a few times with things. This plateau phase is where I am in regards with my book. It needs to get out to more people. When I speak to people, I'm like, God, it's in my book. I wrote that book because it's the things and thoughts that I want to express to people all the time. So I wrote it and it's brilliant. It is brilliant. Even my husband was like, God, that was amazing. And he told me if it was shit. So with that book, I'm in the plateau at the moment. And what I've got to do in this plateau, I'm kind of owning myself as an author. It's like I've done it, but my energy hasn't quite integrated it yet. I'm a bit like, am I, aren't I? I'm not sure. So by the end of this plateau, I'll be like, I'm freaking publicizing the hell out of this book because it's so needed. So I'm in the plateau with there. It's necessary, but that's what I need to propel me, to gather my energy, be like, no, this is going now. So that's a good example that popped into my head. Now we're going to tap. So sit, soften the shoulders, maybe breathe in oil. Can't believe I haven't got any oils in here. They're all up there. And just slow your breath down. So I'll have to allow my breath, which is always there, a steady constant. Relax the face. So we're going to be tapping on points. Just follow along with me. I'll show you the two points that might not be so self-explanatory, and then I'll stop saying the points. So you just tap with me. So we say setup phrase. That's in the way. We'll say setup phrase as we tap here 3 times, and then we'll do short things. And sometimes I'll say negative, and sometimes I'll say positive things because the brain doesn't really know the difference, but we're going to feel the intention. So this is what I wrote, but there's more things that will come through. So if you tap the side of your hand, even though, so repeat after me. So it's like call and response. Even though I feel an immense pressure to keep going, I completely and deeply love and accept myself. See, I can feel the energy moving there. It's like you do. Take a breath if that felt a bit heavy for you, actually. Even though I feel uncomfortable when I pause, when I'm not doing something, I go into scarcity and lack. I completely and deeply love and accept myself. Even though my multi-passionate nature is not always understood, I completely and deeply love and accept myself. Just tap there and take a breath because they're actually really big things. Top of the head. I feel like I need to keep busy all the time. Inner eyebrow. It's really hard. I get so tired. Under the eye. Sometimes I get frustrated and angry. People keep asking me to do all these things, and I don't want to. I'm going to give myself permission to set boundaries. Collarbone. I'm going to give myself permission to follow my urges. Under the arm. I'm going to allow myself to move quickly when I have an urge to follow. Top of the head. But I'm going to slow down sometimes when I know the steps are important. It's okay to slow down. And it's okay to go fast. I trust that I will know. I trust that I will know. The more I slow down, the more magnetic I become. Collarbone. The more I slow down, the more magnetic I become. Into the arm. The more I slow down, the more magnetic I become. So I just want to breathe and just tap your head, because I need to say this now. Gens, you'll never slow down more than most of the population. So it's super important, and it's necessary for you to slow down sometimes. I release the pressure to keep going. Eyebrow. I release the pressure to keep going. Corner of the eye. It is safe when I pause. That's how I grow into my future self. I'm okay with not being understood. As long as I'm following my light, my joy, and I come from the heart, I'm okay with not being understood. As long as I love myself, top of the head, and accept my uniqueness, I'm okay with not being understood. I'm okay with being called faddy. I accept myself deeply. I trust myself to surrender to the flow of life. I trust myself to be present. I trust myself. Under the arm, I trust myself. Oh, that felt good for me. I liked that one. So just sit and be with yourself for a moment. I'm just going to check the chat. I'm going to ask you if you want to comment on anything, comment. It's always a delay, so I'll just hang here for a few moments. Morning, Louise. Whew, that felt powerful for me. So I'd love you to let me know, maybe in the email, how things go. So I'm going to, like I did with yesterday's, you're going to get an email with the full video, and then you're going to get the journals in there. You click the image. I made it look nice. I like things to look nice. And then what I'll do is I'll take the tapping audio out and put some music to it, and it will have a video, because I can't send audio links on my mailing system. So I'll send that as a video so that you can just tap in and do that when you want. This is going to help you decondition. This is going to help you come back to center. That was actually super relaxing for me, because I needed that massively. So any questions, you can always, because things come up when you do this kind of training, you might not realize it, but I've set seeds for your future that will activate, and you'll be like, oh, I can remember when Karen said that, or I can remember learning that, or all that, I just did that, I resonate with that. So this isn't just for now. This is really something to carry with you through life. And living your strategy is amazing. Will you do it all the time? Absolutely not. Do I? Absolutely not. I fall out. But I realize when I fall out of the pattern, try and initiate and make things hustle, like in my, because I'm self-employed, I'm the one generating my income. So I'm like, right, I need to do that. And I do that. And I'm like, doesn't bring me joy, I'm going to stop it. It's super scary. It doesn't make business sense, does it? Like, to follow your joy. But when you do, that's when magic opens. So when you're magnetic, people ask me to do human design talks because I love doing it so much, because I've embodied the wisdom, because I've slowed down actually to master it. I took a lot of time to learn human design and to really apply it to my life. That's where the medicine is, not just doing this. So I really, really encourage you to sit with this and keep experimenting and observing with no judgment of yourself or others. We're living in a world of conditioning, of people being very set in their minds and projecting it onto each other, this, that, polarity, that's good, this is bad. I'm done with it. Let's just come back to our own uniqueness. Went off on a rant there. Okay, I'm going to love you and leave you. So I'll be back on tomorrow with Manifestor. So Gens, please look at it. And I'd say with everyone, still look at it anyway, because you're learning about your fellow humans. And what's interesting, you'll be dealing with someone, you'll be like, oh, I think that in your head, I think they're a manifestor, or I think they're a generator, they're a manager, or they're a projector. It's super interesting. It gives you another layer to observe with people. So sending love. Let me know how that was. Take care. Bye.